See, we've named a pretty settled lineup. We are obviously still factoring in what happens to Israel this afternoon in the judiciary. If he gets some time, we will bring in Bryce Hegarty into that fullback spot. Otherwise, it's great to be able to name a really settled lineup.
How are you feeling about Israel and the outcome?
It's going to be really interesting because I believe if he does get some time, there's just some real implications there around the law-making process going forward. Like, it really makes us look at the kick contest area and exactly how we can, if it goes this way, provide a law that covers or provides for what is happening in terms of the collisions and guys landing on their heads.
Why is there like a precedent that it could kind of legislate those sort of contests out of the game?
Well, I hope it doesn't, because that's the element of rugby that's important, that there is a kick and there's a fair contest for the ball. I don't think in AFL got any particular rules governing that contest, and so that's why for me it's really interesting in terms of that law and what happens and the implications of what happens if he does get a sanction.
Izzy's been good under the high ball since he came into the game. Why are we only seeing this sort of stuff now?
In terms of the contest?
The officiating of it.
Well, I think it's obviously been really highlighted due to the consequences of those contests. We're only really talking about it because somewhere in there someone lands on their back or on their head or lands awkwardly. What is important, what I'm seeing in terms of Israel, is his intent is very much for the ball. And so that's why it'd be disappointing in terms of what the lawmakers come up with around the kick contest.
Do you think there needs to be more scrutiny on, things like the one-man lift?
I do. I think there's a number of different scenarios that are playing out in our game at the moment. Obviously, when there's just two people going for the ball in the air, I think that's a fair kick contest. That should remain. What is difficult was when you add a third person into that equation, particularly in an unstable lift or any sort of single lift where there are many factors involved in that contest. And I think that's the difficulty in this situation.
Is it in some way a bit of another feather in Izzy's cap that, this is all because of his prowess in the air, isn't it?
Well, it's certainly become a part of that. Like, how do you negate that strength of his in the air? And obviously we saw in the second test some really good, clever escorting of players, creating screens and blocks to negate him, and then obviously with the restarts, how a team gets men in the air.
Just on the team, good to have their back as well.
Yeah, it is. Obviously, with Michael Hooper being out for a period of time, it's good to have him back. Certainly bolster our back row. And obviously with Michael out, we're pleased to announce that Bernard Foley will take over that captaincy. We really see that as an opportunity for him to grow into a leadership role and step up.
How has it been different though, preparing for a week without?
Yeah, it has been different. Obviously I've been here for 6 years and it's probably the first time I've ever seen Michael Hooper injured for any length of time. So that will be a different feeling for us. But with that comes an opportunity for Will Miller to step into a jersey he's familiar with and a position. And other guys in our leadership group to really step up and fill that void while he's gone.
Yeah, you mentioned obviously he had a start in that sort of spot. You're pretty confident he'll slot straight in there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's been itching for a chance to get in the 7 jersey. We've been playing two smaller loose forwards all year. It's a chance for him to see what he can do.
On the leadership front, what's the go with Nick and the club captaincy?
Yeah, Nick's still obviously serving his probationary period. We're about to review exactly what has he served enough time, and I think he still has a role to play in terms of his leadership on and off the field.
What was the probationary period?
Yeah, it was undetermined. We wanted to. We didn't put a time on it, and I think obviously what's happened in with hoops, it's probably a good time to revisit that.
And Jack Dempsey, do you have any feeling on?
Yeah, Jack's still plugging away. He's not. He's been more introduced into team training, but he's still not quite right and at a level we would declare him fit to play.
So do you think he'll make it back for anything this season?
I think realistically in Super Rugby, things would really have to turn his way. But he's certainly going to be a feature of the RC.
Okay, and what's his contract situation?
Jack's under negotiations at the moment with both Rugby Australia and us.
Okay, you guys keen to keep him on?
Yeah, absolutely.
And how about you, Daryl?
I'm still under negotiation as well, in discussion, so they're ongoing. As always, performances are critical, and so we'll see how the next few weeks go.
Okay, and look, really big match Friday, right?
Yeah, it's fantastic. I think it's brilliant for Australian rugby that we've got pretty much a conference final coming down on Friday night. So I'm expecting a big crowd and a great contest.
And how do you think the Melbourne Rebels are going? Obviously, Adam Coleman's out. That's a loss for them, and Will.
Yeah. Well, obviously with Will, we're playing a large part of the season without him, so I don't expect that. I think the biggest thing for both teams is getting back on for us the Waratahs page. We had a little light jog around there, and the guys are still a little bit fuzzy on things, and so for us it's very much in the next 2 days trying to get back to what the Waratahs do and how we play.
Listen, Dane Hallett-Petty is pretty good in the air. Will there be any one-man lifts from the Waratahs?
One-man lifts? Yeah, I haven't thought about that, but obviously, there's so many other things that we've got to do to prepare for this game, and I think a large part of that is making sure the boys know our cause.